You can see that the available track that's open in the list controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wire parameter again in the position, this time to the available track, and then down to the XYZ, and then back again to the XY, the actual position XYZ controller, to the available track. And if I use the available track and say connect, what it does, it hooks a wire parameter in there. So now I've got 100% control here. So I'm getting the solution where this is controlling that joint, this control is moving with that joint, and then this joint is moving that joint. But if you notice, part of the problem here is this control is moving twice as fast as the joint. That's because not only does it move the joint moves it back through its parent node. So we've got sort of a circular dependency there, so we're getting this double transform happening on the control. You can see it's moving twice as fast. Well, a great way to solve that is, again, an interesting little cheat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to say wire the available track of the position of this object back to the animation track of it. And I'm going to say times -1. So I'm actually wired it back to itself. So essentially this track is being controlled by this track right above it. So now when I move it, it doesn't move twice as fast because this track is moving, this track is moving it back. So you're actually getting animation in this track here. It's actually going to have function curves, so it won't be sitting flat. It'll be the exact opposite of the animation on this track. So you've got this nice sort of loop back around, and it doesn't slow things down too much. It shouldn't be bad for a facial setup, I wouldn't think. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and set up some of the same things I've done for these joints back to this control. I'm going to add a list controller here and put them back into this control, so that I'm getting exactly the same sorts of solutions that I was here. So now what I need to do is exactly the same thing. Because the list controllers are all set up, I can say available to the animation track, and I can say, you know, times 0.3 or something, and you get this nice flexing going on. And same thing down here, available back to here, and let's say the animation track and times 0.3, and maybe that one should be even a lot less, just a touch, maybe even a 0.1 or 0.15 or something, just a little bit of motion in it maybe or something. And then of course this one back here should do the same thing. And times 0.3, let's try that as well. And now you've actually got this nice double controls that are going on here, so you can control the cheek area with this, and you can control the whole corner of the mouth and into the face with this. So you can place this where you want and then actually ride on top of it again with this one and adjust it a bit more. And then essentially we're going to have the bottom layer is going to be control over each individual joint, so you can get whatever you want out of it. So you can see you can really start to tweak the face just with a couple of controls here and start getting some nice feel to it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a cheek control up here and have the same sort of thing. I have a couple of these affected, maybe even the joints underneath the eye affected, so when I move this one, it moves several of the joints up around here around the cheek. And then of course I'm also going to set up the mouth here too, the top and the bottom of the mouth with the exact same sort of setup. These will be set up just like this control is, because they'll be complete top level controls. And the cheek here too, I think it'll be probably just a control like this, not like this one. Maybe I'll put it on this joint here or something, have it follow that joint there. might be worthwhile. So I can move that one around and have this whole cheek area move. That might work nicely, actually. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish setting up this, and then I'm going to discuss how to mirror everything over and get all these angles, because the rotations of each of these need to be the same on the other side. So I'm going to show you a quick little scripted method for mirroring quaternion values, which you'll find very useful.